Holy Week Tenebrae, Service of Shadows. This evening we're celebrating a medieval liturgy called the Tenebrae. Tenebrea is the Latin word for darkness or shadows, and their service is a representation of the darkness that covered the world at the death of Jesus. On this dark day, as the shadows deepened, we come to be present with Jesus. With the glory of Palm Sunday behind us and the victory of Easter not yet come, we will sit together in this space with our broken hearts. In this world that is at once beautiful and holy and tragic, we seek to be present with all who suffer. In the dark valleys of life, when sorrow threatens to overwhelm, we long for a safe and sacred space to sit with our grief and our questions. Jesus Christ, holy friend, we know that you are here with us. Let us be here with you. Amen.
Let us read together the words spoken to Jesus on this day. The soldier's words from Mark chapter 15, verses 16 through 32. The soldiers led Jesus inside the courtyard of the fortress and called together the rest of the troops. They put a purple robe on him, and on his head they placed a crown that they had made out of thorn branches. They made fun of Jesus and shouted, "Hey, you, King of the Jews!" Then they beat him on the head with a stick. They spit on him and knelt down and pretended to worship him. When the soldiers had finished making fun of Jesus, they took the purple robe, they put his own clothes back on him, and led him off to be nailed to a cross. Simon from Cyrene happened to be coming from a farm, and they forced him to carry Jesus' cross. Simon was the father of Alexander and Rufus.
Pilate's words. John chapter 19, verses 7 through 22. "Kill him! Kill him!" they yelled. "Nail him to a cross." "So you want me to nail your king to a cross?" Pilate asked. The chief priest replied, "The emperor is our king." And then Pilate handed Jesus over to be nailed to a cross. Jesus was taken away, and he carried his cross to a place known as the Skull. In Aramaic, this place is called Golgotha. There, Jesus was nailed to the cross, and on each side of him a man was also nailed to a cross. Pilate ordered the charge against Jesus to be written on a board and put above the cross. It read, "Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews." The words were written in Hebrew, Latin, and Greek. The place where Jesus was taken wasn't far from the city, and many of the Jewish people read the charge against him. So the chief priests went to Pilate and said, "Why did you write that he is King of the Jews? You should have written, he claimed to be King of the Jews." But Pilate told them, "What is written will not be changed. What I've written, I've written."
The crowd's words. Mark chapter 15, verses 25 through 32. It was about 9 o'clock in the morning when they had nailed him to the cross. On it was a sign that told why he was nailed there. It read, "This is the King of the Jews." The soldiers also nailed 2 criminals on crosses, one to the right of Jesus and the other to his left. People who passed by said terrible things about Jesus. They shook their heads and shouted, "Ha! So you're the one who claimed you could tear down the temple and build it again in 3 days. Save yourself and come down from that cross." The chief priests and the teachers of the law of Moses also made fun of Jesus. They said to each other, "He saved others, but he can't save himself. If he is the Messiah, the King of Israel, let him come down from the cross. Then we will see and believe." The 2 criminals also said cruel things to Jesus.
Mary's words. John chapter 19, verses 25 to 27. Jesus' mother stood beside his cross with her sister and Mary, the wife of Cleophas. Mary Magdalene was standing there too. When Jesus saw his mother and his favorite disciple with her, he said to his mother, "This man is now your son." Then he said to the disciple, "She is now your mother." From then on, that disciple took her into his own home.
The thief's words. Luke chapter 23, verses 39 through 43. One of the criminals joined in the cruel talk. "You are supposed to be the anointed one, right? Well, do it. Rescue yourself and us." But the other criminal told him to be quiet. "Don't you have any fear of God at all? You're getting the same death sentence he is. We're getting what we deserve since we committed crimes, but this man has done nothing wrong at all." Turning to Jesus, he said, "Jesus, when you come into your kingdom, please remember me." Jesus answered, "I promise you that this very day you will be with me in paradise."
The bystander's words. Matthew chapter 27, verses 45 to 50. At noon, the sky turned black and stayed that way until 3 o'clock. Then, about that time, Jesus shouted, "Eli, Eli, lema sabachthani," which means, my God, why have you deserted me?" Some of the people standing there heard Jesus and said, "He's calling for Elijah." And one of them ran at once and grabbed a sponge. He soaked it in wine and then put it on a stick and held it up to Jesus. And others said, "Wait, let's see if Elijah will come and save him." And once again Jesus shouted, and then he died.
The soldier's words. Matthew 27, verses 51 through 56. At once the curtain in the temple was torn in two from top to bottom. The earth shook and the rocks split apart. Graves opened and many of God's people were raised to life. Then after Jesus had risen to life, they came out of the graves and went into the holy city, where they were seen by many people. The officer and the soldiers guarding Jesus felt the earthquake and saw everything else that happened. They were frightened and said, "This man really was God's son." Many women had come with Jesus from Galilee to be of help to him, and they were there looking on at a distance. Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James and Joseph, and the mother of James and John were some of these women.
Joseph's words. Matthew 27, verses 57 through 61. That evening, a rich disciple named Joseph from the town of Arimathea went and asked for Jesus' body. Pilate gave orders for it to be given to Joseph, who took the body and wrapped it in a clean linen cloth. Then Joseph put the body in his own tomb that had been cut into a solid rock and had never been used. He rolled the big stone against the entrance to the tomb and went away. And all this time, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary were sitting across from the tomb. God, thank you for being with us in this wondering moment, where we stand poised between life and death, filled to the brim with sorrow, filled with thoughts of what has been and what lies before us. Thank you for the gift of life. Thank you for our friend Jesus, who is a gift to the world, a gift in each of our lives. Comfort us even as we are shaken by the horror of these last hours. Be our friend in this time of sorrow and sustain us in the days to come. Now, Jesus, may God bless you and keep you. May the very face of God shine upon you and be gracious to you. May God's presence embrace you and give you eternal peace. Amen.